Hi, let's get a hands-on demo on Hadoop commands. To actually get started with Hadoop and get our hands dirty with Hadoop or HDFS commands, we actually need to quickly recall the three different modes of Hadoop implementation. The first one is the standalone mode, which is not actually used in these days. And second one, pseudo distributed mode, where all the Hadoop services are going to run on a single system but in different containers. For example, name node, data node, and the job tracker all will be running in different containers with the help of different Java processes, but they will be running in the single system. That is actually used for training and educational purposes, but not for commercial use. And the third one is Hadoop in fully distributed mode, which is used in the production environment, where we will be having different servers, different systems to provide horizontal scaling. So actually that is used, not used for educational purpose. Basically, that mode is used for the production environment, and they need Linux operating system to be installed. But in our case, we need not to install Linux or Unix in your operating system, which performs the platform or basic requirement for the Hadoop file system, but we will be working in the environment with the help of same environment with the help of with the help of mode, that is virtual machine. So now to actually install Hadoop, you need a Linux operating system, which can be Red Hat Linux, Ubuntu, or any enterprise Linux. In our case, we use we use close to Ubuntu. So here we will be using Ubuntu. In our case, we will be using Ubuntu operating system. But remember, we need not to install Ubuntu in our case. I will be using Windows operating system, a Windows machine, but will be working by installation of Linux Ubuntu, on top of which you can configure Hadoop operating system to run in standalone or solo mode. However, which is not a good choice because you have to remove the existing system. So if you install Hadoop, then it will not be a good choice, because if you install it by removing the existing system, then your existing operating system will stop working and you will be installing a new fresh Linux operating system. So we have the option or choice, you can say, to keep the existing operating system and try to run new another operating system on top of the existing operating system. Now the question is, how can we enable another operating system on top of Windows? So the answer is, simple answer is VMware Workstation. The solution here is VMware Workstation. In my case, I have already installed VMware Workstation on my Windows operating system. In your case, you can install it by the method to install that I have described in the description box also. I will be describing the method to install it and how to use the virtual machine workstation or VMware Workstation. It's free and for non-commercial use, that is for your local system, for learning and development purposes. You need not to buy its license, it's free of cost. So let's understand what this VMware Workstation is. It's not just like any other exe file that can be downloaded and run on a system. Though it is also a exe file and you can download and install, of course, it is somewhat special software that you may have come across until now. For its understanding, let's understand what a simulator and emulator is. So herely, let us discuss briefly about simulator and emulator. So we should have basic understanding of simulator and emulator in our case. Now, if I ask you what is a simulator, what first come into your mind? It probably may be any gaming arcade, any training software, bikes, motion gaming, flight simulator. So simulator is a combination of hardware and software, which may mix the functionality of the real-time system, but simulator just gives the feel of a real system. The real system may be as complex as satellite system or as simple as a gaming arcade. But the real thing about the simulator is that you can't replace the original system. You can't say that you are flying a plane. Now, in software circles, we have something that is known as emulator, which is mimics the underlying hardware. So, VMware is one such software that is an emulator. So, in the simple understanding is, if we are using any type of operating system that is not installed, then we work with the help of emulator, just like VMware Workstation, which provides the underlying hardware, and we are working on that. At the same time, if I say I am trying to learn driving, or I want to play some game, but it should give me a real feel, then it is a simulator. Now suppose I say, if I have my system is having 40 GB of RAM and 4 CPU cores, 1 terabyte of hard drive, it will virtualize it. That is, it will give the feel that you are actually have such a system. So VMware is just like a hardware you have. What is the advantage? What is the advantage of having such a setup? What is the advantage of having such a setup now? When you have such a fresh hardware, you can install a new operating system in it. Now we actually launch this. Then we can install a new operating system on top of it. Hence, instead of removing Windows that is already installed on my system, you can install any number of operating systems. By doing so, you are creating a virtual machine, and that I have a hardware on top of which there is an operating system, on top of which there is an emulator software, which is called VMware Workstation Pair in our case. So, and using this VMware, you can install whichever operating system you want. So I have actually having an operating system Ubuntu Lockdown Support. Just a minute. So in this case, I'm using this virtual machine VMware in my case, which is having lockdown support, and when I try to open that, it will show a virtual machine. So you need not to look for the virtual machine. It's gonna to be on your desktop. You need to browse it from the downloads, and in my case, I have stored it in MB folder on the desktop. In that, I have exe file. So here it is on the desktop in the MB folder on desktop. I have exe file in this case. Here it comes. So this is just one time operation. So next time it will be shown over here only. It will be shown over here, already installed. So now to validate or Cross check what is configuration for that. Just open VM settings and see memory, processors, hard drive, etc. in this. So here I have allocated 4 GB of RAM to this virtual machine, 1 CPU. In your case, you may have 1, 2, 3, 4, any number of CPUs. Typically, it is a multiple of 2, and I have decided to give 1 CPU to the machine. I have dedicated 20 GB hard drive to it. Typically, I have carved some part of the system resources to the virtual machine. You can also use Oracle VirtualBox if you are comfortably using it. I basically prefer to use this VMware because this is the first company which launched this type of concept. Also, you need to ensure that the RAM allocated is 4 GB. This is the basic requirement. Other virtual machine VMware softwares are also available. Like for Mac, there is a virtual machine fusion. Now let us ensure that RAM allocated is 4 GB. For this, click on edit, virtual machine settings. Now make sure how much RAM is available in your system from your screen. You can assign the RAM. The thumb rule is that whatever RAM you have in your system, you must allocate half of it to the virtual machine. Now check for the RAM availability. So it's 8 GB installed RAM I am having. So I can assign 4 GB to the virtual machine. It can be done by giving it 3 GB of RAM, but then your system may get very slow. So this type of machine particularly require 4 GB RAM. So don't worry, if your system is having only 4 GB RAM, then you can allocate 3 GB to it. 3 GB it means to virtual machine, but you have to be patient because the system will work too slow. After this, click on the play virtual machine. So first time the system will ask you, you have copied it or moved it. Select any one of the option, both are fine. I select it. So now we are waiting for the operating system to boot up. Now here you can say remind me later. Once the system gets started, booted, then you have to log in with the username and password that you have created. So you should have some patience in it. So I have created a username -d user. So I will log in. The password is simply home in small. I'm using Ubuntu 16.4, which is being shown at the leftmost corner at bottom. Long-term support. So here is how your Linux will look like. So in Linux, the file system is different. When I say file system, it means the view. How actually the things or files will look like. They are organized. Now, if you go to Windows and then click on this PC, let me show you the difference. Just switch to Windows once here and click on this PC. Now you notice that there is C drive, and also you can have multiple drive concept like C, D, E, F, etc. But in Linux, your hard drive is having single partition, which is called as root partition. In Windows, you can have any number of drives. In this case, I have a single drive, that is British SSD. Now in Windows, we are having single root drive now like this. Let us demonstrate with the help of Notepad. So by using a forward slash, you can denote your root partition. So in Linux, we denote root partition by a forward slash. And the root partition will have several folders like that are called directories like D1, D2, D3 and so on. Under each directory, you can have subdirectory. So it's a tree-like structure over here. So from here, the file structure becomes sometimes similar to your Windows because folder inside the folder, another folders, and then documents. So it has become similar to your Windows-like file system right now, but remember we are having single partition. Now see here on the left hand side, here you have a home folder which is the landing area. Now if you want to navigate to the root directory, you have to open the terminal because from here you can access the folders like Windows, but to move to root directory, it is mandatory that you have to go back to the terminal. Let's open the terminal. You will get a screen like this. Here. Now let's practice some Linux commands which are actually very much required before proceeding to HDFS. So these are only 4 to 5 commands in number, not many more. So we have logged in as in Ubuntu as a HD user. So we are able to see this. Now firstly, let's know in which directory we are working. For that the command is pwd, which stands for present working directory. Here HD user is actually the name of the user which I used while installing and configuring HD user. You can take your home, take your name as HD user. You can give it any name, but it should be done at the time of installation. So here I am under HD user, which is under home directory, which is further under the root directory by forward slash. Now if you want to get back to root directory, command is cd hash, cd forward slash. Now here you can see the icon has changed to forward slash. To see the contents under the root directory, we can type another command. Firstly, let's check about pw, that is which directory we are working. Now we'll display the contents of the directory. Command is ls command, that is listing the contents of the current directory. Now here I don't know which one is the root directory. For that I will type ls -l. Now it will show contents like this. Here we can see which one is the directory and which one is simply a file. Now if it starts with D, it means it's a directory. Else if it's simply with starting with hash, then it's simply a file. So you can see over here, that clear the screen once with command clear. Now to navigate to home directory, I need to type the command cd. It will take us to home directory. There is a difference between if I write home as capital and home as small. So have a look at that also. Capital home is a short name or short form for the path, that is HD user coming under home, that is home directory. Whereas small home is actually a folder under your root directory. Now to create a folder under home directory, there are two ways. First way is simply right click and create new folder. Go back to that file, creating the folder. Simply click new folder. Then under this new folder, I'm sorry, my screen is getting little bit trimmed because I'm sharing in some other mode, having some problem. So under this file, I have created a sample folder. Now let's go inside the folder and create a file inside that as hello.txt. Now let's list folders with ls command. Now refer to the sample folder. Simply type // sample folder. It is listing hello.txt. Now to navigate inside the sample folder, simply write the command cd. Or to remove the contents, the simple command is rm hello.txt. Now list the commands once. Now see, it is showing the current working directory, present working directory with pwd, ht user. Now type cd .. to get one folder back from the screen. Now from sample we have moved to home ht user. Now if we want to remove a folder, earlier we removed the file with rm command. Here we will write remove rm -r. Then folder name was sample folder. Now check whether deleted or not after removing this. So there is a difference while using rm -r and rm. So if we use rm simply rm, it will remove the document. If we use rm -r, then it will remove all the directories, folders. So now check whether deleted or not. Unix file system is a local file system that is managed locally by the system. Now when Hadoop is installed on top of this, which is actually a distributed file system, we are using Hadoop. Now HDFS negotiates with the host operating system. Host operating system is the operating system which is hosting Hadoop. Now in our case, host operating system is Ubuntu because Hadoop is installed over Ubuntu. Forget Windows operating system for now. Now Ubuntu is a host operating system and the file system managed by Ubuntu is local operating system. Now this local file system can be viewed either using mouse or through terminal using commands. Now the moment when we installed Hadoop, which is having distributed file system which negotiates with the local file system, for example, it will tell the local file system, hey, I want to use some space in your hard drive as I have to put some data in your drive. Now see, you can do with command also. So here physically Ubuntu is not having any partition, but logically HDFS is trying to take some space in hard drive of Ubuntu. In this case, HDF is going to create a folder into my Ubuntu operating system and going to put data in it. Now we want to demonstrate the Hadoop command. First, we need to start all the Hadoop services. Since Hadoop is installed in pseudo distributed mode, all the Hadoop components like name node, data node, secondary name node, job tracker. In our case, as we are using Hadoop version 2, so remember, we will be having a resource manager instead of a job tracker, which was used in version 1. And instead of having a task tracker, we will have a node manager. So firstly, we need to start all the Hadoop services. I'm again repeating, whenever we want to use Hadoop in the local file system, then Hadoop will request the local file system. To start the Hadoop services with the command start -. all minus hs. Now it is showing the script is scripted. Instead, use Hadoop this services, Yarn, sh, and so on. Now you have to wait for a while when the Hadoop services are starting. By default, while starting these services, HDFS is up and running. MapReduce is up and running. Both the services are up and running because basically we had two components in Hadoop, HDFS and MapReduce. So I suggest if anyone has not skipped the previous theory lectures that were about MapReduce and HDFS, please go through them once because they are mandatory to understand these things. See, both are running and up. HDFS is running, so it is demonstrating all data nodes, country node and all. Now we have used JPS command that lists the Java processes. Now it is showing some numerical values. Forget about these numerical values. These are nothing else. These are just the process IDs that are assigned by Java. So we can ignore all these numbers. These are nothing, just process IDs generated by the operating system. Ubuntu has assigned now if we are using Hadoop version 1, then we must see job tracker instead of resource manager. Now here we are showing name node. Here also we can use the command, list command just like Unix. So we say node manager is there and resource manager is there. We have cleared the screen. So here let's use the ls command, list command to see the contents. But if we want to see what is there in the home directory, then what is the command? I can use the command hadoop fs minus ls. It's showing sample, and now if we want to see where exactly this sample is present, the command is hadoop fs minus ls and forward slash. It will show where it is being present. Let's type. Now to see what is there in users, the command is hadoop fs minus ls hyphen ls forward slash user. So here you forward slash user hd user is configured under your root directly. It is configured under root directly. Now let's create a new folder under hd user. hdfs make directory sample new. The folder sample new will be created under forward slash root. Let's create a directory, make directory sample underscore new. It will create a new directory that will be named as sample new, and it will be created directly under the forward slash, that is the root directory. Now display a list of the contents under that. So it is showing two directories because they are being represented with D. So two directories. So to show under a particular user, you type this command. It is showing the full path. User, hd user sample, and under user hd user we have a folder named as sample new, or you can also call them as directories. So now list the commands. See, it is showing two items found, sample and sample new. These are previously created. Now this is the command to remove. Hadoop fs minus rm sample new. It's showing to use skip trash option. So if it shows the skip trap option, then you have to use this option along with the command. If it is not shown, then you can simply ignore it. You need not to use skip trap option. It is to be mentioned only if it appears If it doesn't appear, then no need to use skip trash option, else we have to use it. Hadoop fs minus rmr skip trash and then sample new. Remember, it's not mandatory to use. Now see, it has shown the message deleted sample view. See, it is showing only one item. One was deleted and showing another one. Now let's try to copy content from local file system to our Hadoop. It means how to put data into the folder. Let's make the directory sample 101 and then display. Now we are trying to copy a file from a local file system to the Hadoop file system. We can use the command put command. So firstly, let's create a folder. Now we are trying to copy a file. Let's put some content in the file. I've written hello, this is my first file in Hadoop. List it. Choose flights.csv or any other data that ever is present. Now let's try to using put the data using put command. Firstly, have a look at the present file directories. So the command is hadoop fs minus put sample file txt sample 101. Here we are copying a file having one line text. Now in the production environment where the file may be very large in size, suppose 128 MB. Now this file will be automatically put in 3 different blocks, each of 128 MB, and each of this block is going to store in different data nodes. Since we have only one data node here, so we are going to store file only once. Internally, many things are happening behind the Hadoop services and we can't see all this. So many services are running in background, like creating replications of files, storing it at multiple places. If we are working in sudo environment, sudo distributed environment, then copying it on a different processes to demonstrate. And if you are working in fully distributed mode, then on so on. Now let's try to list the contents which we have copied from the local system. So it has shown one file found. That is sample file.txt. Now hadoop fs minus cat command is to be used. It is used to see the content of a file. Cat command is used to see the content of a file. The file is under sample 101. Hello, this is my first HDFS file it is showing. Now remember, if you're working in production environment, so guys, never ever use the file uh, with the help of cat command, because the file consists of petabytes of data in it is in petabytes in size, and using cat command can take even a number of days to produce the output. So never use cat command with big data files. This is only for demonstration purpose, but you should not use for production in production environment. It can be used on solo or distributed mode. Solo mode you can use, or pseudo distributed mode for educational or training purpose we can use it, this cat command. Here we are using for distribution purpose only, demonstration, so we can use it. Now let's try to remove this file. The command is hadoop fs -rm sample 101 sample 5. So remember, before you start working on Hadoop, it is recommended to you all to practice such commands on your screen, local file system, only then shift to big data distributed files. So we have done a practice of few commands. The commands are similar to the Linux operating system and Unix operating system, like making directory with the help of terminal. Also, command prompt through command prompt we can create directories and files. And we discussed about how they are similar to Hadoop commands. And this session was not about how to create files or folders in Hadoop. This was actually how you should be little bit familiar to work on uh, local system before switching on to distributed file system, because distributed file system, using distributed file system, it is quite hectic, because the distributed file system basically deals with big data files, and they are quite larger in size, and petabytes or zettabytes or hexabytes, exabytes of size is there. So I recommend to practice these few commands either in solo distributed mode, or at the same time you can work on pseudo distributed mode, like with the help of a virtual machine. So the first thing you need to do is install virtual machine VMware workstation. It's free of cost, it's easily available on net on any of the sites. You can simply download the exe file for that. It is basically emulator. Emulator means it is a hardware that is providing you the facility to install on install it on it further virtual machines. You can create virtual machines. So this is the basic idea of using virtual machines. And on in our case we have underlying hardware, which is my any system or desktop or laptop in my case. Then next after that I have installed the Windows operating system. On the Windows operating system I have installed another hardware, that is a VMware virtual workstation, that is providing hardware. It means on the top of hardware I have installed another hardware, which is emulator hardware. On top of that I have installed the Linux operating system, that is Ubuntu free version in the lockdown period. And after that, on top of that, I can install Hadoop and work in Hadoop. So for practice purpose, this is sufficient. You can do practice of these basic Hadoop commands. In the later sections, we will be discussing about version 2 and 3 of Hadoop, and their facilities that are being provided and features of Hadoop. Then we will little bit describe about HBase and Hive also. But I recommend you, if you have skipped the lectures or sessions of MapReduce and HDFS, please go through them. Although they were theoretical sessions, but you must understand, only then you will be able to understand how the distributed environment is actually working. So still, if you have any query, then you can ask me to any media. Till then, keep practicing. Thank you.